Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Well, today I'm going to be putting a new storm door on our back porch. And before I go any further, I'm going to show you a picture that I took the other day when it first fell apart. So I'm going to inject that here. And now that you've seen that, isn't that great? I'm going to show you what it looks like now, because it's fallen apart even more a while ago. And I did go get another door over at the hardware store, and we're going to start going through the motions of taking that all apart and putting a new one in. So let's see how this works out. So I have a small assortment of tools that I gathered up that I think I'm going to need on this. I got my drill, my cordless drill, some assortment of bits, a marking pencil, a center punch, some drill bits, tape measure, and I got a step ladder over there. So with that, we're going to go look into it. Okay, so here's my new door outside the fence there. Still in the box. We're going to pan over here to the old door, and you can see what a mess that is. It just broke all to bits. The window itself is actually laying over here, leaned up against some stuff. When it actually fell apart, none of the glass broke. I was really surprised. Let me show you up close here. This wood has gotten wet. Water and rain and stuff has gotten in here, and it's like particle board, and it's all just fell to crumbs, sawdust if you will. You can see a big pile of it all over my steps there. And my biggest challenge is going to be, since we're on 3 steps here, getting up to the top of that is going to be the challenge. I don't know exactly what I'm going to have to rig up to be able to reach that right. Should be interesting. This is the piece that fell off the first day when it broke. I went to open the door and that all just fell away. Anyway, alright. It's enough of the destruction part. I'm going to see if I can't figure out a way to get up there and start taking that stuff off of there. Well, as you can see, it's a simple matter of Chinese acrobatics. I have that old engine mount frame with a board on it on the steps. Got a little step stool so I can get up to the first rung of the ladder, and another little 4-foot step ladder so I can reach the top of the jam. So yeah, it works, but it's kind of precarious. As you can see. Anyway. Yeah. Doesn't that look like fun? Alright. You couldn't see, but yeah, believe me, I could reach up there. Okay, I have all the old stuff completely off. It only took a few minutes. And I found some interesting things. They were using a paint stirring paddle for a shim. And on the latch, they had shimmed it out with a folded up piece of the instructions. So, I'm not trying to make fun of that because I've been known to do whatever it takes to get a job done myself. I just thought it was funny and I'd share it with you. And I'm really being blessed by this fact that we have a wee bit of an overcast sky. And it's keeping it from being so bloody awfully hot out here today. I mean, it's still hot, but it's not as bad as if the sun was just beating on me. So, now it's time to pull that new door out here, lay it on the ground, open it up, and see what it entails. Well, here it is. And for starters, it's a Larson brand. It's a 32-inch door. It says to lay flat to open. And right there, somewhere, it actually says pull here to open. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And it kind of worked. Anyway, I'll tear it open and then we'll have a look at it. Well, it's a good looking door. Comes with a full instruction package. And which I'm going to actually take a minute and study them. See if it won't give me any tips or tricks. And then go about putting the rascal on the house. Oh, they give us a nice, great, big color diagram instruction manual to follow, which is very nice, and it opens up like a book. Makes me feel like I'm at work. I'll show you why. Most of you know that where I work we make books. And at any given time you can walk through there and see everybody standing around doing this. Inspecting that stuff, making sure it's right. Of course, we won't be smoking, and it'll be loud as could be. But yeah, that's what I want to do on my day off, is pretend I'm at work. Alright, back to the instructions. Alright, it says to attach a screw into that top hole of the hinge rail to the door jamb, like so. And then what you do, what it says to do, is take this off and attach it to the door. So, I have my sawhorses out here, which I love these things, by the way. And by the graces of the powers that be, they were not too much trouble to get out of the garage. But anyway, it says to take the second bolt from the top, which I think you can see it right there, out of here. And that's where you attach your first hinge bolt screw. And the rest should fall in line. I'm sure you have to drill them with an 1/8 inch drill bit and install them, which I'm not going to bore you with me doing all that, but that's the way it goes. And if there's anything I need to add after I get done doing that, I'll tell you about it. Just follow along, drill the rest of these hinge holes. Like so. This is pretty cool. It comes with these little things, which at a glance I didn't know what they were, but I knew they were incorporated into this process somewhere. And it's actually marked, one for the right and one for the left, and they slide right up into the bottom of these side panels to make sure that your door extends all the way the length of your door jamb. And I'm sure when you put your bottom piece on, it meets right to it. So I believe. I thought I'd share that with you. Here's where it gets interesting. It tells me to hang the door up there by myself on that screw that we put up there a little bit ago. And this door is heavy. It'd probably help if I took the glass out of it. Yeah, we'll see. If it becomes too much, I will. Alright. Wasn't too bad. They told me to tighten that one up. Not too bad. Not too bad. And I'm sure the rest of that process is going to be putting the rest of the screws in. Alright, now I got to drill a hole in that bottom screw hole and put a screw in it and start screwing that jamb in there. The hinge rail, excuse me. Anyway, there's the hole. I'm just going to put a screw in it. And that little thing will slide down and make the door close that opening. Okay, see how that little piece slid down to the threshold? Alright, now it tells me to go up and down through there and put all the screws in. It says there's 8 of them altogether. I gotta drill the holes, put those in, and then come around to this side and put these screws in. Okay, got all those screws in there. Now let's see what's next. I think it's time for a drink. What are you drinking there, boy? Fruit punch thirst quencher. Humidity out here or something else. It's threatening to rain, it's thundering. Yeah. It comes with 2 little pieces of this felt weather stripping. One to go in that little bitty piece down at the bottom that I was showing you. And that's where your bottom threshold thing will fit up to. Anyway, that's just keep the drafts out. I'm going to stick that on there now because it says to do it now. And yeah, it's self-adhesive. So, pretty self-explanatory. Matter of fact, it's perfect. I don't even have to cut it. Alright. Yeah, got a little caterpillar in there. Alright. Moving right along. So now, I gotta put that drip cap on there, which goes right above the door. Broke my bit off in there. That's no good. I broke my little drill bit off in there. Acting like a Chinese acrobat. Alright, we just need to look. I used a little bit smaller drill bit, the next size down. I just gotta make sure it doesn't bind. And it looks good. So the next step is gonna be to put the catch rail on, which is the same process as all the rest of that, just drilling the screws and putting them in. So I'll do that without boring you with it. Well, I hit my first snag. This catch rail that goes right here, I need a piece of shim to go all the way from one end to the other. That's, I don't know what that is, 1/4 inch or something. But yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute and figure it out before I can go any further. 3/8 of an inch all the way up and down through there. Maybe a little better. I could put it on like that, but it won't have anything to back up to when the door hits it. It'll just, we don't want to do this because there won't be anything behind it. So that's no good. We can't be having that. So, yeah. So, being as it's threatening to rain, I think I'm going to pick up the things that in case it starts, I don't want to get wet. And then we'll go in the garage and see if I can find a 2x4 and my table saw and see if we can't rip something out. Well, since my table saw is buried up in there, I decided to just rip it the old style way with a hand saw, skill saw. One pass, then I'll turn it over this way, flip it the other direction, and of course this isn't long enough, so I'll have to do a little piece to go with it. But that's the idea. I'm not going to bore you with making you watch me do all that. Just showing you that part of it. Okay, I got my little pieces and pre-drilled them. Here's a little short piece I had to make. Pre-drilled it, drilled into the aluminum siding there. Used some little wood screws, and there they are. And sunk it down. And when I check it for gap, there's a little bit of a gap there. That's just what I need for the door to close. I believe that'll work fine. I intend to go ahead and put the rest of that in there and try it and see. So we'll see. See if I measured right. Oh, look at that. There's a little gap. There's a little bitty gap. Not enough to worry about. All right. Now we can check the rail, catch rail. Okay. It's not perfect, but it works. I may need to shave a little bit off of that bottom piece, because the gap is getting really close to borderline not working. So that part's done. It shuts, got a nice gap. It's not exactly perfect, but it's not far off. The next step is to put this on the bottom. It's got a weather stripping. Slip this on the bottom of the door. Close it, go inside, adjust it up and down where I want it, drill a hole each side, put a couple screws in it, that part will be done. And that will only leave us with the closer assembly and the latch assembly. So we're almost there. Alright, there's that bottom part on there. I don't even know what they call it because I didn't look at the instructions for that part. But anyway, it's on there like it's supposed to be. Come here, Tuff. Tuffy. There he is. Alright, now the handles and the closure. I call this thing a deal except for cleaning up the mess. Alright, for this part, it says you can go either up at the top of the door, which I don't like that because first of all, Pat's short or not very tall I should say, and has a hard time reaching those. Plus, I don't like them because they hold the top at the bottom of the door always has this wobble to it. and I prefer them in the center of the door, and in this case it says a couple inches below the glass would be recommended, so that's what I've done. I secured it here with 4 screws. Now I got to put this piece onto the end of this piece. It says to use the long clip for that. And then you shut the door and level this up and mark it and put 2 screws in there. Don't drill all the way through the door. Put your 2 little screws in there and that part's done. Alright, and so therefore it looks something like that. And they tell you when you're doing this to have this out 1/4 of an inch away from all the way closed. And I'm sure that's so when you're done and you pull that back, it actually pulls it all the way shut, which, oh, that's nice. See, the old door never would do that. That old closer was just beat. Oh, that's gonna be nice. Alright, so now for the latch, and we'll be all set. So the door comes with this really nice little template. You fold it over on the dotted line, hold it on the edge of the door, like so, and drill your holes in these appropriate places. And it says 5/16. You start off with a 1/8 or whatever you got. And this actually has a really nice hardware. This is not plastic. This stuff, try to get it in the camera here so you can see it, is metal and it's heavy. Anyway, this little bar comes out of there and the spring, and so does the button. You know, you slide the bar in, put your spring in small side first, push it through the hole, and run your screws in it, which I'm about to do. See if I can get all this stuff together in one hand and get over there to it. And this middle hole, you want to make sure it's hogged out really good, so that little button in there can go all the way through it. And you want to try to make sure there's no burrs on there too. But that way, if your hole is hogged out good, then your button can go in and out easy without dragging and binding on anything. And it's just a matter of slipping that little rascal in there. And fishing your screws in and getting them started. They're actually just long enough you can pull the outside handle away enough to see it, so you know it's there. It's not all guesswork. Give it a few thread turns. If you got a Phillips screwdriver handy, it'd be nice, but I don't have one handy. I've been using my drill for everything today, which I'm going to do it some more. Works fine. And the only thing left is the little latch that goes over there. A little catch for that rascal. Which the old one was bent up because it's probably been here forever. There's the new one. And I'm lowering it just a hair from the old one to make sure I don't get any of those old screw holes. And it comes with shims and screws. So it'll be back to the same thing. Got to drill the pilot holes. Comes with these 3 plastic shims. think you can see them there. Now you just got to line them up and set it in place. So in this particular application, I just held this up here where I could eyeball it and see that it's going to work. Put a little marker there. Then I was able to open the door and drill my holes. And then, after my holes are drilled, I come back and use these plastic shims. And again, in this particular application, it turns out that not only am I going to have to use all 3 that they sent me, I'm going to have to use the 2 that were on here from the previous installment. Because that gap I had to fill up with that shim stock that I made really made a big difference. I should have shimmed this door out some on the hinge side. But hindsight 2020, that's what you get sometimes. See if it does. Yeah, it shuts, but that's not enough. There's still too big of a gap there. And since I've already drilled my holes for my handles and got them installed, I don't want to re-drill that because that'll just leave open holes. So I'm going to have to shim this out more, which may involve me doing something creative. I'll have to figure it out and get back to you. My light has just about gotten away from me, but I've got it done. I had to end up putting some washers behind here to shim it up enough that it would actually catch. Tomorrow I will spend a few minutes and do something to give it a little bit more of that Tufdog twist, but because that's just shoddy, it looks like crap. But it'll work for now. And it's not a lockable storm door, it's just a screen door. And the only thing the latch is going to do is keeping big winds from blowing it open and keeping the dogs from pushing it open when we don't want them going out. So I can live with that. Yeah. Alright, so there you have it. I hope that didn't bore you to tears. I edited the crap out of this video while I was doing the work, and that's probably why it took me all day, well, all afternoon, all evening. Anyway, it's done. I'm sure my landlady is going to be happy because I didn't charge her anything for my work. She did pay for the door, and she seemed very tickled about that because she was going to pay somebody to come out here and figure it out. You know, and then that was going to make me have to babysit somebody else being in my house, you know, and I'm like, just let me do it. I'll take care of you on it, you know, you buy the door, I'll do the work. It's easier that way for me. Anyway, it's done. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope maybe you learned something. I know I did. It's not the first door I've ever done, but if you don't do one very often, you know, you gotta think, you know. So, yeah. On the box, I think it says 2 guys, 1 hour. Well, that's sure if you do one a week. You can do one in an hour because you know everything. You have every tool ready and you know exactly what to do. You don't even have to look at the instructions. I think the last door I put on a house was probably some time ago. It's been some time ago. I remember I was on vacation in Arizona one time and there was a big mishap, and the person I was with ended up going to jail, and I had to replace a storm door to make restitution so that they could get out of jail so that we could come back to Missouri. But that was years ago. That's one of them tough dog tales for another day. Okay. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming by and watching me do all this silliness, and I'll see you later. Take care, and have a good night. Bye-bye. Sweet. I like it like that.